Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast today on real relationships. Today, I want to talk about negativity. It's a big subject and it's very prevalent, and it can be prevalent in your relationship and actually start to really erode your happiness. Now, negativity can come in two ways. You can either be a negative person or your partner can be a negative person, have a lot of negativity about life. So that's one issue. And the other one is that you can become very negative, both of you, because of the things that are happening around you and inside the relationship and outside the relationship, which creates a lot of negativity. The first one is probably quite a hard one to do if you're with someone who's very negative or you are very negative, and to change this, because eventually it will just wear the one person down. Usually it's one or the other, but there can be situations, I think, where both people are very negative, and this can be making the whole relationship kind of negative. The best thing to do is to stop it. Now, negativity is just the way we behave, and it's just our response to the world. So instead of seeing the day as a beautiful day with the sun shining, the negative person will talk about how it's going to be too hot and they can't sit outside and it's going to get sunburnt. It's the way you tweak your life, the way you look at your life. So how we tweak it is really the way we look at it. And they say what you see is where you focus, and it's very true. If you are married or with someone, living with someone, or in a relationship with someone who's very negative, it's going to be a hard subject to bring up as well, because they will sort of think there's entitlement with negativity and they're just being honest, and I want to be frank with you. However, it can get to a point where the person is so negative that you actually don't really want to be near them or around them or engaging with them, and you'll tend to start shutting out to all their stuff. So when they're doing their big rants and raves and carrying on about something and making a big deal about something which you think could have been dealt with in a more positive way, you'll start switching out. If you're the negative one, you'll know, because you'll just be whinging and complaining about everything and always seeing the negative of everything and always seeing the downside of everything. I think in negativity, the fundamental emotion is fear, probably fear and hopelessness to a degree. Fear that if they think good things, they'll be disappointed, so they just think bad things all the time. Try and jolly your partner out of it if that's the one who's negative, and keep being positive. Don't get caught in the whirlpool of negativity, because it's easy to get caught in that pool, and don't let them change you. If you're a positive person and optimistic about things and kind of a happy person, you keep being like that. They're allowed to be the little grouch in the corner if they want to, but don't be so affected by it, and don't take it personally. It might be their nature. I actually often think that it comes through the gene pool and also from our environment. If we grew up and we've got one or two negative parents, you'll pick that up. They'll always be sour and seeing things in that way, and you pick up that behaviour. It can be changed. You just stop being negative, really. Instead of saying it, you be quiet and think of the positive of that. You keep seeing the positive. You keep being grateful and seeing all your blessings and seeing the positive things in your life, and then deal with the things that aren't so good as well. The other one is when you're in a relationship where a lot of things are happening to you that are negative. Maybe there's money problems, kids problems, illness problems, parent problems, lots of problems. And the negativity of this can start really eat into the relationship. Then you need to get time out. You can't sometimes get out of it, but you can get time out. So go to a nice coffee shop together, have a nice coffee, go and have a glass of wine on the beach. Just take time out and don't talk about the negative stuff, and that's a really good way to stop it. If you want to have time out, you can't be talking about it for the whole 40 or 50 minutes. You just talk about other things. It's to change your focus, because you're in it, you can't get out of it yet, so you change your focus. Eventually a lot of these things will pass and they will get fixed up, and all the problems that were in this year might not be in 18 months there. Therefore, you're giving a lot of focus to something that will pass. It's also important to do this because if you keep talking about all the negativity around you that's happening, which is real and true, you'll find that it'll just be all the time. You won't get a break, and then it'll become easy to actually become more and more like that. That's the trouble with negativity. The more you feed it, the larger it just seems to grow. You have to starve it out almost. And that's why I've done this podcast, because I want you to start starving it out, because it's going to affect the happiness and the spontaneity and the joy, the actual joy of life. Because there's still, within all the terrible things that are happening to us, there's still the joy of life. The little sparrow who comes and eats from your birdseeder, watching the sunset, that beautiful music, hearing a joke and laughing. There's still lots of joy, and that's what you want to do. You want to start being in a more joyful place, because love and joy do go together. And make more fun, make more jokes, be a little bit more silly, because that's going to help to break that negativity. Some people also burn oils in the house, so it smells beautiful, and they also clean their house up, because the house can get kind of stale. So if you do a good house cleaning and spruce it all up, it'll make everyone feel better. Play uplifting music that people like in the house, and also make sure you have lots of light in the house. Open up the windows and clear out some boxes and put them in the shed. Maybe tidy up the garden a bit. All these things will shift that kind of negative energy, and it'll make it a nicer place to be. I believe that we are a little bit predestined to be negative if we've grown up with those genes and with those parents. However, I think we can change our behaviour, because it's where you put your focus. And if you keep putting your focus on everything that's wrong and everything that's bad, that's what your day will be like. But if you put your focus on what is good today and what were the little highlights and the good things today, that will make your day better. And that's the other thing. Don't get swallowed into negativity. Don't buy into it with people. You listen, you hear them, but you don't have to get attached to it. And that's the other thing. You don't want to get attached to negativity with a negative person, because it'll just feed it, and they'll become more like that. And then you'll find you'll be agreeing with them and sounding like someone you don't really know anymore, because you never used to be like that. Being positive is also a very uplifting kind of way of living. To be positive and be optimistic, it's hard to do. I don't think being positive is easy. I think being negative is easy, because you just stay down there in the bottom of the pit complaining. It's easy in a sense, but being positive when things aren't going so well and seeing the positive, that takes some kind of courage, some kind of strength. And that's what I want you to do, is to keep being positive and keep being like that. Because if you've got children too, it's good for them to see how you can ride the waves when they come, that you can still see something good in today and something positive in today. It might be just as simple as really enjoying that pizza tonight. God, that pizza turned out really well when we cooked it. That was lovely. Or sitting outside and admiring your garden. It doesn't have to be big things, but they will all add to the positivity of your relationship and of your life. My heart goes out to you a little bit if you're living with a negative partner. You might have fallen in love with them and not realised. And also if they're suffering from some kind of depression, that's going to make it even harder for you. But just don't get swallowed into it. You're not going to help them going down that rabbit hole with them. You can sit there and support and give medical help and all the things you can do, but do not go down there with them. They need someone who's positive, who can bring them up and out. And they don't need to have two negative people in the house or in the relationship. This is quite a slow one too. It's like a slow burn of negativity. Sometimes we can be with people and we don't realise how negative they actually are. But the more we are with them and more close and intimate we become with them emotionally, the more we realise how negative they actually are. And that can be a little bit of a shock, especially in a love relationship, because you love this person but you realise that they're really, really a negative person and you didn't realise it was that bad. The signs will be, of course, they won't say positive things. They will twist it always to see the worst scenario, the worst outcome. They will whinge, they will whine. They will be quite victim, I think. You'll find them quite victim people. And they will never think it's fair and it wasn't right. And they have social justice and personal justice kind of issues and often think people are being mean to them when they're just maybe not very well that day. They will have a lot of qualities like that. As a positive person, they will see the up of everything. They will try to make it better. They're usually very proactive. They don't focus on themselves a lot and anything negative. They sort of just deal with it and see if they can fix it up. They have a different way with negativity or negative situations. They're more proactive. They don't seem to fall over as much. They seem to try and find ways to fix it. It's a good thing to tackle this one, because on the two levels, whether you're with a negative person or you're negative, or whether you're going through a negative situation, they both have to be dealt with. And that's why I've done the podcast. So have a look at it, see if you can keep being positive, encourage your partner to keep being positive, and you can get through it. Because in the end, it's just all about how we respond and how we behave. And if we can change how we respond and behave, then we change our life. Okay, I hope you have a good week, and I'm sending you lots of light and lots of healing.